you have got to play the what do you want game. You've got to ask yourself, what do you really, really want? And when I say, what do you really, really want? There's a circular game you can play here, and it's got 3 questions to it. Question number 1, what do you want? Well, I want to be financially secure. Okay, how would that make you feel? Well, I would be thrilled. Okay, so what you really want is to feel thrilled. What are you willing to do to be thrilled about your life? Well, I'm willing to work harder. I haven't been applying myself enough. I'm willing to work harder. Okay, and if you worked harder, how would that make you feel? Well, I wouldn't be so frustrated with myself. I'd be more self-satisfied. Okay, so what you really want is to be self-satisfied. What are you willing to do to make yourself be more self-satisfied? Well, I think I'm willing to hold myself more accountable than I have in the past because I let myself get away with being lazy in the past, and I'm not going to do that anymore. You see the circle. All right, so you're not going to be so lazy anymore, so you're going to work harder. How's that going to make you feel? Well, maybe for the first time in a long time, I'm going to be proud of myself. So what you really want is to be proud of yourself. Doesn't have anything to do with money. You want to be proud of yourself. You want to be proud of what you do. You want to be proud of what you achieve. And that doesn't have a number attached to it. You want the experience that you think money will bring you. And you know what? You may be exactly right. Everybody says money won't buy you happiness. Well, maybe not, but you can afford to go where it is. If you've got money, then what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with having money, but you need to understand why it's important to you. It's not just important to you because you can buy a red Mercedes convertible. What's important to you is how you feel when you're driving that red Mercedes convertible. You feel accomplished. You feel proud. You feel like you've done something. You're looking for the feeling that things bring you, that money brings you, that a car brings you, that a job brings you, that acknowledgement from others brings you. There's currency that goes beyond the material, the money, the thing. So you have to decide, what is it you want? So what have I said so far? I've said, if we're going to hit the reset button and relaunch, before you start off, before you roll down that runway, do an autopsy on where you've been. You run down this runway before and it didn't work out just exactly the way you wanted it to. So let's figure out why not. What have you done or not done that needs to change? Okay, what are your traits and characteristics? The good ones that you want to take with you and the bad ones you want to leave behind. Then what is your life script? What do you want the next 10, 20, or 30 years to look like and feel like? And to get that really dialed in, you've got to play the what do you want game. What do I want? How would it make me feel? And what am I willing to do to get there? And you just keep going around in that circle. And the only rule you have is don't repeat yourself. You will eventually lead yourself to what you really, really want. Okay, now, last Tuesday, you heard me say you have to shake it up to break it up. If you're going to relaunch, I told you, change everything you can so it feels like a new day. It feels like a fresh day. It feels like something completely different. Now, I want to be very specific with how I want you to do that here. I want to be very, very specific about how I want you to do that here. Because when I say shake it up, I mean at every level. And most importantly, I want to talk about the people in your life. Anytime you write a script, there has to be players, right? You have to have players in your script. This is not going to be a one-man or a one-woman play, one-man or a one-woman movie. There's going to be other players in this. So let's talk about the players. And I want you to make a list of the people in your life right now. You got a pause button there, so let me finish, and then you can hit the pause button for a minute. I want you to make a list of the people in your life. Now, you can go back historically and make a list of the people that maybe you don't see all that often, but they're still an impact in your life. You can make a list of the people in your social life, in your romantic life, in your church life, in your work life, in your neighborhood, Maybe you're involved in school for your kids. Just make a list of the people, and maybe you can break them down by categories. That makes it easier. But make a list of the people in your life. Take some time to do it. This might include your in-laws, your siblings, your parents, neighbors, just the people in your life. So hit pause and make the list. Okay, welcome back. You have that list in front of you. Now, there are a lot of different ways you can categorize and break people down. I always hate it when people say, there's two kinds of people in this world. There's a million kinds of people in this world, but it helps to break them down into groups sometime, doesn't it? And one of the ways I like to break people into groups is in real fundamental ways. And one of the fundamental ways is when I look at the people in my life, there are givers and there are takers. Now think about that. There are people in your life that are givers. They're always ready to help out if help is needed. They're ready to support you if necessary. Lend a helping hand if you need an extra hand. Maybe you're scrambling around to cover everything, take care of your kids. You got a party you're going to throw or something, backyard barbecue or whatever. Hey, what can I bring? How can I help? Whatever. Maybe there's been a death in your family. And so they're around saying, hey, what can I do? How can I help here? Maybe you're going to have to go to the doctor or the dentist and you need a ride because you're going to be a little dopey afterwards or something. Hey, what time? I'll take you, pick you up. There's people that are givers. And then there are people that are takers. Now think about it. The only people they ever want to talk about are them. The only thing you ever do is for them. They're willing to let you do anything in the world for them. They never reciprocate. They will whine to you. They will suck you dry of every ounce of life energy you can muster. They will come over when you're having a perfectly good day and sit there and bitch and whine and moan and suck you dry till you just want to scream. They will borrow money. They're just takers, mentally, emotionally, energy-wise, financially, time-wise. They just have no empathy, no sense of the impact of what they're doing or not doing on your life. They are takers. Split your group up that way. Who are givers and who are takers? That's a real fundamental way to divide your people up in your life. Now, there are other ways. You can say who's toxic and who's not, who's honest and who's dishonest, who's loyal, who's disloyal. But it's a real fundamental way to just say who's a giver and who's a taker, who contributes to my life and who sucks me dry. And those people who go on the suck me dry list, those people who are on the taker list, you need to hit the eject button on those folks. Because let me tell you, you got a finite amount of life energy. And when those people come over and start draining you, that's an hour you'll never get back. And when they leave, you are so depleted, so irritated, so frustrated, listening to them complain and whine and bitch and wear their victim hat, that you're just discombobulated for hours. You do not need that in your life. So you want to distance yourself from those people. And I'm not saying you need to confront them. I'm not saying you need to say, okay, I need you to come over at 3. You come over at 3:15. You come over at 3:30. I need you at 3:45. You don't need to do that. You never need to say a word to them. The decision is yours. You don't owe these takers another 5 minutes of your life. Just all of a sudden, you're not reachable. All of a sudden, you're just not around. My executive producer is Carla Pennington, absolute rock star. Been my executive producer since a year before we went on the air. The day she came on board, she had infant twins, and people were saying, oh my God, how in the world is she ever going to do a startup of a show with 350 people on staff? There was just an energy about her that I just knew. It's not going to be her keeping up, it's going to be us keeping up with her. And that was exactly what's happened over the last 18 years. Talk about a giver. She is a giver. You meet people like that just contribute. Then there are people that are just as strong in the opposite direction. But she was telling me the other day, I said, do you think this person knows they're not doing a good job? She said, one of the first things you told me almost 18 years ago is that people don't need to worry when you're talking to them, even if it's telling them what they're doing wrong. You said people need to worry about you when you quit talking to them. And she said, I've seen it over the last 18 years because there's a point at which you say, I'm not willing to invest any more time or energy in this person because they do not have a future here. There is no point in spending another 30 seconds counseling this person, talking to this person. It is not going to matter because they're not going to listen and they're not going to be here. So it isn't going to make any difference. I've just learned when you stop talking to somebody, I need to start looking for somebody to replace them because I know they're not going to be here. And it doesn't matter whether it's somebody that cleans up the office at night or it's somebody that's doing graphics or it's somebody that's handling the uplink to the satellite. They either get it or they don't. Once you decide they don't get it, you'll work with them. But then all of a sudden, when the conversation dries up, yeah, I need to start looking for somebody else. I don't confront anybody. It's just one of the rules of life. You don't want to throw good money after bad, good energy after bad. So you don't need to confront all these people. Just make the decision. And if it's the decision that, nope, this person is not constructive, then just don't invest any more time. Just move on. You have that right. In fact, you have that responsibility to yourself. Now, I say that like we dump people around here every day. We probably got the lowest turnover rate in the history of Hollywood. Like I say, I've got the same executive producer since day one, got the same director, got the same 7 cameramen, got the same security guard, got the same supervisors. I've watched these people grow up and raise kids and put them through school. And Carla's infants that she was raising are now off to college. But you'll run into people that they're just not a good fit in your life, or maybe they're toxic in your life. But you've got to decide in this life script you're writing who gets a part in your life, who gets a part in this script. And then you need to start recruiting those people around you that can help. You really need to start seeking out people that can help.